And today's video is tricks and tips for knee care with fascia release. I am known for being the creator of the Way of the Happy Fascia online fascia release course, which is excellent and you should check it out. Watch this video all the way to the end for a coupon. I'm also a doctor of physical therapy and the creator of the Fascia Release for Yoga course with Yoga Journal. Today we are going to go over 3 main points to remember about fascia release or myofascial release, whatever you want to call it. The first is that we are never practicing myofascial release or fascia release for no pain, no gain. That gets you nowhere. The primary mechanism by which we understand that fascia release, self-massage or somebody doing it to you, functions is truly through the nervous system. So you can either take the nervous system and turn the volume up to 11, or you can keep it on that low, steady, interesting input. And I go into a lot more detail in my online courses about how to differentiate between the different sensations. But essentially, if you feel pain, back off. And that's why we're going to work primarily with a squishy ball today. The second thing is to remember that fascia release is not the end goal in itself. The end goal in itself is really about the function of our lives rather than the fascia of our lives. The delight is to have a healthy, functional human body that we never have to think about too much, that we're able to go about our day without too much worry. And it's only when we lose that capacity that we start to fret very often. So it's less about, oh, Dr. Foster, how many minutes a day do I need to spend doing this technique for myofascial release? It's more like, how can you yourself be empowered through this myofascial release tool to continue and practice your self-care and use it as a tool from the toolbox that you can always go to the moment that you need it. The third thing is really that a little more about this one body part that we're going to look at today. So knee problems typically stem from issues or are intimately intertwined with issues above and below. So the biggest joint below is your ankle, and the biggest next joint above is your hip. So if you can get your ankle and your hip functioning really well, then you're going to be in good shape. We're going to go back to number 1. So as I mentioned, if you happen to be experiencing chronic pain or intense pain, if you have a condition such as fibromyalgia, you never want to be jamming on it and instigating more pain. This is not, again, I can't emphasize this enough, but myofascial release is not a no pain, no gain situation. So we're keeping ourselves in a pain-free zone. The second really, really important thing is that you're going to be in less pain probably if you choose something that is softer and larger. Larger because it's more area, and softer because you're going to also be in contact with more of your organic body proportions, right? Now, I'm also a huge fan of these peanuts. Both of these tools are made by Rad Roller, so I'll put the link to those below as well. But they are harder, and so don't use these if you know you are living with a lot of pain. We're going to get to our inner thighs, and I'm so curious to know if this helps you with your knee function. So we'll line our sides. And if you have a nice soft squishy ball like this, you just put it between your knees, and you're going to start by taking your top leg and internally rotating from the hip. So even though we're getting some muscular action here, you're also getting some myofascial release. Again, if you have a peanut or a harder ball like a tennis ball, you can also put that there. The second technique that we're going to be using is just setting yourself up on the floor. So bottom leg will straighten out, and of course on your own, please go much more slowly than I'm guiding you today. This is a quick overview of the techniques. So you're going to take your inner thigh, place it on top of the ball, and move kind of slowly forward and back. So you're just kind of moving through the tissue at a nice slow pace that the hydrated tissue in that area can grasp onto.
You can do this, of course, with a single tennis ball, a squishy ball like this Rad Center, or a peanut, a duo. And if you own a couple of tennis balls, putting them in a sock and securing it tightly is a really nice technique. So that is it. You've got the three little techniques here, the lifting and lowering, so you get the cross friction. You've got the weight and the plowing forward and back. And well, the third thing that's happening at the same time is the strengthening of your internal rotators of your hip if you practice the first one. Practice these techniques on both sides. Give it a good college try. And if you want to check out my online course, Way of the Happy Fascia, you can go to yogaanatomyacademy.com and use the code ORGANICINDIA10 to save 10% on Way of the Happy Fascia, my online course full of fascia release techniques. Thanks so much for watching.